I now commence this new season of D&D. New campaign, new characters, and this episode won't start with me saying what happened last time. You don't know because you weren't here.
Oh, we have to do our initiation.
And this night will be poison, specially made up today, and it's a variation of a type of sugary purple drink.
This is a little bit better.
No, it's not bad.
I get the one he was sniffing?
Yep. Alright,
To a good session.
to no one dying. Yeah.
Please, that'd be nice, yeah.
That means
Alright.
we're dying at level 1.
Swisher. Don't buy it. It's crappy rum with Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid, but
It's like, it's sweet, but like not good.
Crappy rum with Kool-Aid.
yeah, crap.
It's like they needed to add a little bit more sugar or something.
Hey, look, I got another poison to use item.
Right?
Oh.
No, do not restart. Should have updated earlier today.
Should've cut it, whatever.
I was just about to say.
Ha! Cut it. Pull that out of your mouth.
Oh wait, are we? Do you still need the shot glasses or no? Because we're just taking out. Yeah, we're just taking out.
No, look here. Oh, well, yeah, go see you. So here you go. So let me start off this campaign with you guys. For all intents and purposes, the guy that's not here today, not man enough to bring his girl on a date here.
What's up with that?
Date. We got D&D. We don't got enough time for dates.
Right?
Oh well, yeah,
D&D is life.
Yeah.
that's right. It's a lifestyle. It's a cult.
Rolling ones.
No,
Rolling ones
Did we
happens
just
every
go
day, baby.
around the table and introduce our characters?
yeah, do that. So, you.
Me?
Oh, you know what? You'll go semi-last. That's right, you.
Alright, well, my character is an undead necromancer that in life was a cook and is really depressed that all I can taste is dead rotting meat now.
And his name is
Javid.
Javid.
You.
Mine is a half-orc tank who aspires to be a legendary archway from his warrior tribe.
Yeah, wait, what's his name?
His name is Korak.
Of course.
Of
You.
course. My
Wait.
character.
You.
You're in order! It's going like this.
Let's see, mine's a rogue human elf that, I don't know, does nothing. It's him.
And he looks like a girl.
Looks like a girl.
Plus 2 to
Eats a
charisma.
lot of tofu.
Plus 2 to
and
plus 2 to
beans,
charisma. That makes sense.
Crap!
It just
No,
you
it
wanted to restart?
yeah, it keeps acting me every 14 minutes.
Oh.
You can't, like,
Can
tell
you go to
him
the
to
four
delay
top?
for, like, 4 hours?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, very fun.
Go home and take a break.
Oh, excuse me. Okay. So yeah. Okay, and mine is boring human, but I'm a rogue magician. I'm a street magician. And my name is Maldrick the Magnificent.
AKA Gambit from X-Men.
Copyright issues.
Yeah, I'm gonna get in trouble.
They gotta ban the video.
Get hit from the frozen kind. There we go. Suck that, Disney.
Let it go, guys. Let it go.
She's a finger bender, okay? Right there.
Finger bender.
I know it sounds so bad.
Bang, bang, you.
Well, since that thing decided to really want to update, that was a cheap thing, but it'll be done when I finish explaining why you guys got together.
Okay.
The main guy is actually not here. His character, his background, from what I have written down, is that he is a rogue who aspires to be one of the greatest, and he has a someone he admires, like Thomas Edison. Someone wants to be like him, so they build things based off of electricity, blah blah blah. And so he's trying to become greater than he was.
He being just some person?
This guy that's
4-4.
not here.
Okay.
Oh god. Okay.
Yes, that happens.
Technology!
Black.
It's only good when it works.
So for all intents and purposes, I will go over this in a semi-later time, probably when you guys are leveling up. But the name is funny, a little bit long, but he's an artist. He's an engineer, and there's stories and stuff behind it, and I've written down like this one.
So this is a vague intro.
Yeah, it's really vague.
It was gonna be, you know, decent.
You guys
Yeah.
are going to do
Vague.
stuff for reasons.
Yes. So without giving too much away, he ends up walking around trying to find. He has a schematic and it's not complete, and he wants to figure out what this actually was. The guy can no longer, the inventor that he's looking for can no longer be found anywhere, and he wants to figure out what this was and complete his work. He walks around into a tavern where you see down in the corner one of the best smelling undead things wearing a cloak around. So people accept him in his community only because he's always cloaked, but he smells almost as good as an elf smell. So people just, whatever, you say things, it's kind of hard to hear or gurgle, they just figure, oh, well, it's an elf learning common or whatever. And he walks by and says the name, which you will know once it finished doing what it's have to do. And you get enraged because you're, wait 1 second. You were chasing down an ancient artifact, and this artifact was told that you could live forever with this artifact. And after your years of life questing for this artifact, you actually die in the very room where this artifact is. And sure enough, your soul's basically the rest. This guy that he's looking for is not here. I'm not pointing to him, pointing to the invisible guy, who's not actually here.
I like how we left his face.
Yes.
So we feel like that
Yeah,
He's on a date.
Gosh. What ended up happening, he built gizmos, basically traversed through the dungeon, picked up the item which disturbed your soul, twisted it, and you basically came back to life to find this guy, get your treasure, and to kill this guy. Because he didn't sweat, no years, he heard the book, basically made a finder, found the book, created machines, go into the place, take it, and walk out of there. Not a scratch, and not a sweat.
What an asshole.
Something that took you your lifetime to do, he did it basically in 2 weeks. He basically like, oh, that'd be fun to
Like,
find.
that'd be
Built
fun.
the machine to find it, found it, built the machine to go through it, got it, came out.
Yeah, I don't like machines. Fuck machines.
Fuck the
And
machine!
so he basically walks around.
Rage
and
against the machine.
he announces his name. He announces his name in this tavern you're in, and it roused your undead carcass. Technically, your spirit blood. It riled it up, and
Hello.
tell you guys its name.
I think the hook is in the way.
Just in
Really?
case. Never be too sure. Okay. I opened up the program and there's my story. Disappear!
My story just got deleted.
I just have to write it.
He's like, well, you all died because I'm pissed. That's my story.
He throws it out the window.
See, a rogue bent on becoming a world-class inventor finds a schematic but is not finished. And the inventor name is slightly faded and incomplete. For years he researches this schematic, and the rogue finds that the real signature of the guy that's true now out for vengeance is called Guillermo Esteban Pipsqueak VIII.
Sounds like a halfling.
It's
Yeah,
it's close enough.
gnomes have the really long names.
Yes.
And
Guillermo
they
is
have-
called, you can spell it how you want, but how it's actually written down there is GEE-AIR-MO. It's no.
It's like,
Like an Arab mo.
Guillermo what?
Guillermo Esteban, and he spells his name ESTEBAN. Pipsqueak, PIPSQUEAK.
We don't know.
How would someone use that name 8
You're good enough. Why fix my name, bro?
Guillermo Esteban Pipsqueak VIII is a successor of the inventors of Guillermo Esteban Pipsqueak 1 through. That's why. Each one in his family died with that name, became a famous inventor in its time.
times? What a curse to have that name.
He had to be good at something.
And this Guillermo Esteban Pipsqueak VIII was the greatest inventor in the legend. It is said that Guillermo Esteban Pipsqueak VIII made the gods extremely angry, which was this was legends that the rogue that's not here will end up telling each of you after you guys meet them. It has something in common with this sort of quest. He will tell you the background to him because he of course is obsessed with them and wants to become better than he is. So he actually did the research over the years to find what the schematic was at the beginning.
That's a mouthful.
And so he heard that. So he's not 100% right. So he's not
Actually, it was
100%.
probably like, that's probably this.
So he's not 100% sure on which part of what happened to him is real or not, because each of them is told in different areas as to be fact.
Different area codes.
Guillermo did have holes. He actually had a machine to make him more attractive.
Oh, cool.
He's invented a lot
With
of
a name
things.
like that.
Right? Yes, I am Guillermo.
No.
Oh, you still talking? What's going on? Is that so? Based on where he's been and where he's gone, which is a lot of places, since he spent years searching for the name on it, and it's his favorite guy, was lots I heard that he made the gods angry and they destroyed him. Others say that they were impressed on his works and basically took him from the plane to work for them, like he was ahead of his time. So they took him and basically trained him even further than he was. Some say Guillermo Esteban Pipsqueak became a god himself when they took him. Gosh, I hate that name. I even started
You
writing.
can't just call him Pipsqueak.
No, you can't.
No, you can.
G with a small G, not a big G.
You guys can. They can't.
Did you copy paste?
No. Every time.
Yeah, every one of those out. Oh man.
It was funny because I
Oh,
said,
can you talk in the third person?
yes. That's what makes it really crappy when I wrote it. I'm like, great.
I am.
I love my
Guillermo.
name so much I have to say it every time I talk about myself.
Tell me to kill this guy later. Tell me we get to kill this guy later.
Say your name one more time. If I can swear to God, I'm gonna say it from.
Say it,
The guy's so nice they named him 8 times.
That's gonna be on his grave. Carve that in there.
I will strike down the wrath of God and I will bring it down upon you.
Let's see. Others say that the machine that he built that impressed them and or angered them to the point of destruction was a machine to make himself into a god, because he hit the street like, well, if he was talking about these gods, so he created a machine to become a god to see what all the hype was. That's how good he was.
Damn, 20s all day.
The machine was just a hat that said God. There was
The light bulb, it's all like flashing. That's the image.
And he just blows up like, well, I guess it works. Damn. That's
And of course, these are rumored by everyone he sees, and it's basically like a rumor legend type deal that people don't really talk about. And then the same way they talk about these two things, they talk about how Guillermo Esteban Pipsqueak VIII they swore that he was a madman, crazy out of his mind. He never invented anything that was worth inventing. After a couple of inventions that he made were stolen. Like one of the inventions, it scrolls down here, it says that he created a machine to give goblins intelligence, and the goblins in turn stole his machine and stole everything he had at the time. And that made a lot of people angry because the goblins ended up taking over certain areas, made them really angry at him.
Gotcha.
Again, these are all rumors / legends that's been happening over the years.
This is the power of a true neutral person who has no morals, no compass, just I want to do this.
This sounds like a good idea.
Others say that he was obsessed with so much that he killed himself. He had one of his experiments on his islands and he killed himself. Some say that he invented a machine to kill himself and he died.
Let's see those words.
Yeah, pretty
So he
much.
made the phone booth from Big Trauma.
It's
When
suicide.
Everyone decided to test it.
I just thought you made one of those machines that has like all those moving parts and it's like, you know, this hits that, blah blah blah. And at the end it's a gun.
Machines.
It's a gun.
Who builds this?
What was the point of all of that?
Electrical going around. Yeah. I don't think I wanted
It
to
just
stop
shoots you.
And so everywhere you kind of end up going, more or less, no one really liked Guillermo Esteban Street the 8, wherever you pretty much go. All the stories are pretty much all in sequence, like I told you. Oh yeah, and then there was also a story you guys, or rumor, legend that you guys heard that Guillermo Esteban Street the 8 build, basically get an invention to enhance weapons and to make weapons at the same time, and he lost it to the orcs. So he has super smart goblins and super powerful orcs.
Oh boy.
And this is why I'm a lawyer, because they to deal with the orcs as best as they can.
Yeah, the group of goblins gave you intelligence. I reread that earlier. And then I told you your story about the Soul Pivot Rest for the powerful book, which I said it wasn't a book, but now you know it's a powerful
Do I know
book.
how I died? Or did I just die?
More or less, you after traversing through the perilous dungeons and questing and finding hints about your Necronomicon, that's the ancient artifact that you're searching for, you end up basically dying in the room after you killed the last boss that was guarding it. It was a lich. And after you killed it, its curse killed you. But you sensed that your artifact was in this room, so you technically got it and you died. So you lived a lone, quest fulfilling life.
That's why.
And then so when it was taken, it disturbed you. And the power of the Necronomicon brought you to what lacking in flesh you actually have.
You want to pause
So I
talking
actually-
and have some people?
So I actually don't
Okay.
have
He's
the
the reason why
Necronomicon
Ash
action.
only has one hand.
Oh.
So I actually don't have the Necronomicon on me then.
No,
This
no.
other guy has.
That thing is
That's
powerful
why
as
you
all
want
hell.
to
That's
kill
what,
him.
yes.
That thing is powerful as all hell.
He's even more powerful now.
You are now level 20. No. You're level 1 right now. You're like, whoa.
Your whole life of questing and you're level 1. You defeated a lich!
It's single-handed.
Oh, maybe, I guess.
Hey, but now you have a proficiency
Since you're
in fighting.
reborn, maybe that's why you're level 1.
Maybe
I'm assuming you didn't defeat a lich at level 1.
that'd be badass. 20, 20, 20, 20, 20.
Sucky lich.
Don't fuck with this guy.
I rolled like 4 20s in a row. I was just like, no. no. This
So,
book's mine.
While in a tavern, you heard a rogue ask about about Guillermo Esteban the 8. And let's see. And so he basically walks up to you and asks, because you yourself, you didn't know his full name, you just knew Guillermo. Yeah, I wrote it as Guillermo because that's all you knew, so I was actually able to write it without saying the whole thing.
Yes. Now I gotta skip the others.
And so when he walked up to you and he asked you, do you know who this is? and in a ghostly, chilled voice, you said Guillermo, and it basically sent shivers down the rogue's spine. And so then
Yeah, he doesn't say it.
you decided to follow him as he was searching for him. So over the years, you guys picked up the stories, and then over the years, you would step into as you're searching around. And then, okay, yeah, and then so you walked in. So in one town, you walk in, and well, they walk into your town as you're sitting down at a tavern at the end of your day from your quest. Yep, has to be.
That's where I'll go move to. I'll go mad.
And they find this extremely proud man who trained his whole life to be the toughest guy around. And you heard that there was an armor invented by Sir Guillermo Esteban Pispier.
Yeah, sir. That sounds right.
Yeah, I hate it when it's Sir anymore. So every time someone here refers to him, you're just a ghostly, shrieking, upset soul that says Guillermo. And then you will always refer to him as Sir Guillermo Esteban Pispier. And then he only refers to him as Guillermo Esteban Pispier.
Sir Guillermo.
And so he invented this armor that will actually train you as you're wearing it. Yes, and I read out all the specifications of that armor what you will find. And I really wish he was here because technically he was supposed to get the notion to invent these things that was heard by separate people that either he took. So he was going to try to invent basically a clockwork type of Necronomicon, which you typically will have and the stats and whatever buffs you for it, whatever, a little bit later. But that's what you're holding around. And then you actually have a makeshift armor that will way diminish what Guillermo as long as the 8th invention of the armor will actually do.
So all the stuff that he makes is copies, or he's trying to copy.
Yeah, because he wants to be better than he is. Yeah, so he's trying to make these things as he hear about what is he going around trying to find people who's trying to find that guy because of it, and he's trying to be better than him. So he's making these things as he's going along trying to find them.
So he's making knockoffs.
Yeah,
You can tell in the stitching.
These weren't made by no hands.
This is why you asked me. Why does my watch say Guillermo Esteban and no 8? I don't see
Where's
the
the
8.
pipsqueak?
Is this why you asked for my hair? What? Whoa, jeez. You tied it all together.
It's a pipsqueak, not a pipsqueak.
I forget to get a chance to talk to you about that, but this actually might kind of change, but this last part is, and so, from the very beginning, which all of you have failed to notice, except for the last time, is that you are being followed over the years by this person. I forget if you're
What? Oh, the road.
You rolled a really good high check for
That's why I have a spot listed in search, so damn, you've been hiding like crazy.
Oh, okay.
Well, I was gonna be a male, but
Okay.
But
it's
that's
more like a
nothing
girl.
else is there, so.
And so,
You're
And,
pretty
and
male.
also, every time you guys referred me, it's all she, you know what, she.
yeah.
So I just might
Fine,
my natural
she.
gender.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna be a he too, though. Like,
yeah,
well,
well,
you
I
never noticed
wanted
him.
to, but that's what she said.
Alright. So you never noticed someone's following you over the last couple of years that you've been searching for Guillermo Esteban Pispier.
Sir Guillermo.
That's for you. That's not
Guillermo's you.
Sir Guillermo.
Physician is actually following you this whole time. And basically you've been traveling around making money, presentation, financing your craft and stuff. And the only reason you're following them is to find Guillermo Esteban Pispier is because you heard that he has a device that he made that will attach to anything that can hold something and basically make it an infinite bag of holding.
Ooh.
And so for your cards that you have, you wanted it to have an infinite bag.
Okay.
And yes. And what Guillermo Esteban
Oh my god,
the
I could have an infinite scarf.
Tied down there, there's our rope. Go,
We're like,
go, go, go.
okay, just 3 hours, 6 hours, and then they come back. Still? Like the sun starts going down, and you're like,
Infinite scarf.
How much rope did you need?
And what this device does is once it's secure and it's cut on, it fooled people, because what it actually did was, say you put a card in the bag, and now it copied that bag. It copied that card that went in the bag. And every time you pull out a card, it copies that card. So you pull out the copy. So the one thing you put inside of it, it's now permanently in that device. And when you pull it out, it's only a copy. When you put it back in, it's only a copy. Yes. So
That's how it makes
But
it
I haven't-
because it's constantly making
but I have-
every one
So wait, did I
time.
get it?
no.
Okay,
You
I
have this guy's made up funky
okay.
version. That's why whatever you put in there destroys it. And it's only one thing.
Okay.
So you put your card in there. So technically you have a card that has so many uses a day, and the battery drained out and you can't do it anymore.
Okay.
So as you travel around, you find different material which you pops out the power source and puts it into the power source. You also add your own arcane ability, which technically is not magic that you have. As I said, you're technically a mutant.
Hey, it's not a bad thing, man.
Challenging the copyright.
With a chromosome that was changed, like instead of looking like this, it's look like more like a Z. More like a Z woman.
Bring it! Bring it! I challenge you to your copyright.
Suck it.
You roll a 20, so suck it.
Everyone knows what I'm talking about.
I'm gonna put an X in your mouth.
Okay. I thought I was writing this up, but yeah, this is gonna happen. And so the device is already fixed, so you can't actually, oh well, I want to change what's in there, because
Oh,
it's
okay.
not the real thing. So it's the card. Since
So
your
it's the same
summon
card?
creatures, the dove. No, it's actually a copy of the card.
Okay,
So
but yeah, but I
I
mean,
was-
the original was destroyed,
yes, it copied it.
but it's oh,
So there's a
that
copy
one.
technically in the bag, and there's a copy that you pull out every time. So you have to need something to pull out. What I was gonna do was make you roll, and the first thing you was gonna do was it was actually gonna fall onto something, and you would have had basically a pet hand as your familiar instead of having the doves
That
if
would
you
be
had chose the card.
awesome.
Think, go!
I know.
Because the first thing that happens, you attach it, you put your hand inside of it, and it incinerated your hand, and you pull out a copy of your hand. So every time you put your hand back in there, you pull out a hand instead of your card. Because then you put your card in there, and every time you pulled it out, you pull out a hand, and you just pull out a hand.
Is this your?
So basically, give this girl a hand and
Or
there
you
you
would
go.
have had an accident and it would have dropped and fell on someone, either the head or something else would have took it up and destroyed it, and all of a sudden you're just pulling out copies of that thing you destroyed. But we fixed that off camera, so now you have cards. And finally, as you guys started setting out, trying to find Guillermo Esteban
Wait, so
Sir.
they know I'm
Yeah,
not following them anymore?
No,
I mean,
they knew
know.
that you're following them,
Okay.
and you decided to join them,
Okay.
as in trying to be by yourself all the time, trying to follow them. So also, if you did not have
Sir.
a survival, you do now.
I think I do.
You have survival.
I don't.
Yes.
So
Now
what
you
is it?
have a +5 in your survival.
Survival rank is.
As there do you have survival?
I think so.
They should. Rogues do.
No, I didn't put survival.
Yeah. So technically, as you're trying to find a better weapon for yourself, because over the years of training and basically slaying the mini goblins and orc and their mutated spawn-like orc weapon goblin intelligent creatures that they have now come to have, because the goblins were so smart they found the orcs and then enslaved them.
Well,
Because the orcs were the only one able to create it, even though the goblins are smart enough, they are not smart enough to remake the invention from the schematic that was given to that the orcs actually ended up having. So it was almost like each schematic was bonded to whoever had it. And that's how he made his schematics. They're more bonded to him after he got it, read it, and put it away. But at the places and spots where he was, then he created these schematics, someone else happened to get it and it bonded to them. So it's made by Guillermo Esteban Pipsqueak the Eighth, but it's bonded to that person, which then became traded to that race. That's why the goblins became super smart, and the orcs have unbelievably strong weapons. And so they couldn't copy it, so they just basically enslaved them. And you have these weird orc goblin names.
yeah, I couldn't see an orc and a goblin going, I guess
That's
intelligence
what
makes it
every
work
tree- Yep.
somehow. That intelligence made it work somehow.
That's why smart guys get laid.
Did you say no? It's roll of the dice.
Flip a coin. 10 points.
And so you're overhearing this and you're thinking, wow, this guy is accomplished. I kind of heard iffy things about him in my travelers. Let's see. Yeah. It's kind of. I'm the GM!
I must wait.
And so, as you level, I'm gonna give you a specific trait at specific times, because over the times you've been traveling and stuff, it's something happens to you, but the way you build your character, you can't just force it upon you. It start making you kind of OP, and you don't need to be OP at level 1, because then you will die that way. So, because then you start scaling to level out the group, and then you start leveling with the group. And then all of a sudden, like, oh yeah, you're a badass, let's go fight this guy. And they didn't realize that it's scaled out, and now you're fighting someone you shouldn't be fighting.
Yeah.
And so you're like, I'll find this guy. Maybe he might actually have something for me. And that's why you're following them. Otherwise, you just go around doing what you've been doing, trying to escape goblins and orcs as you're just, trying to improve your own skills. Short notice and trouble.
That's fine with me.
And without the guy actually looking for him, now based on your rage, and you finding your armor, and you finding this real things. Because now, after deciding on what you guys are going to do, let's see.
Is restarting it?
What?
Oh.
No.
I thought you
So to redraw the city, I'll just do a semi on the other thing. And then,